Good morning everyone. Back again. It doesn't look like I'll be getting out bush anytime soon, so I figured why not just do the testing at home. I also had a bit of a pretty cool idea. Thought, hey, why don't I roll it into a comparison between a kukri, an axe and a saw, and how you could use a combination of them to get the job done. Now normally I would start with something quite small and scale it up into something quite large. I figured in this case, I think the video would be a lot faster if I just grab one massive piece of wood and just cut it down into smaller pieces, split it down and film that using the different tools so you can get an idea of the comparison between the tools, how they operate, the physics behind them and how well they do comparatively. Alright, let's get this started. Alright, so to get an idea of what we're operating with here, for starters, I'll be cutting things down for the splitting portion with the Silky Gomboy 270mm folding saw. It has a medium TPI blade on it, not one of the larger blades. It's got a medium blade on it because I figured I could use that for bone as well. We've also got a rifleman's tomahawk from Cold Steel. I've modified it slightly, cut the handle down a little, taken the pate off, put a patina on it. You can see everything else I've done there. And then we've got the SunDog Kukri, which is what this video is all about. The difference in weight between this and this is close to double. The rifleman's hawk come in at 1.2 kilos, including the handle, and the Kukri is at 670 grams. So this is quite a lot heavier. I'm expecting this to out-chop the Kukri simply because of the physics of it. All of the weight is in the head. But I've been surprised before. We'll see what happens, and then we'll try and use both of these for splitting as well. So I'll probably baton through logs with this. This I'll just have to swing. I will try to baton with it if I can. And we're going to use the saw just to do the cross cuts and cut down the big stuff into splitting sized pieces just to make life a little easier on me. So I will still cut with these, but yeah, we'll use the saw just so that we have nice straight pieces to split. Alright, cool. Let's start the beginning test. We'll start with a paper test, comparing the blade of the tomahawk and the kukri. Okay, so to begin with, we'll do the paper test. We'll start with SunDog. And normally I'd use foam book paper for this, but this time I'll just use standard writing paper. And yeah, you can see I haven't really stropped this or anything out of the packet yet, but it is incredibly sharp. As I said, it took all the hair off my arm in one go. We've got a nice slow slice going on here. Well, it's catching on certain areas, needs to be stropped, but it's cutting quite nice. Very slicey. So I'll chuck that there. Get the tomahawk now. This won't necessarily slice as well because even though the geometry is similar, I've got less blade to drag through the paper, but we'll see how it goes. So this needs a bit of a strop too, I'm thinking, but it does slice the paper. I might have to get a little bit closer to show you because, as I said, I've got less blade to drag through the paper to work with here, but it's doing the job. It is slicing through, so we'll just take a corner off there, at least try to. It's harder to do with the smaller blades. It is slicing though. There you go. So they're sharp enough. I'll see if it takes some hair off. There you go. You see there? It's sharp enough to shave. They both are. Alright. The last thing I'll do, because we're going to test this a little bit later, as part of the review of the SunDog, shouldn't have scrunched this paper up, but whatever, is sharpness testing of the carder. And the carder is, as to be expected, quite sharp. It'll slice through this paper pretty well. It's tearing a little bit, but that's because I've scrunched the paper up. It's not perfectly flat anymore. Oh, actually, I'll get another bit of paper. We'll start again, just for the carder. Alright, just so that we're testing fairly, I've also got the carder out, fresh bit of paper, and it's also quite sharp. So it slices paper as well, and we'll do a bit of shaving with it. You should be able to see it there. So there you go. They're all shaving sharp. So with that being established, all the blades are shaving sharp. We're going to saw this a little bit, saw it down for some splitting pieces, which we'll also use to chop up the rest of the log that we're going to chop on. And then we're going to try and use the same method or similar methods between the two blades to cut it in half. Alright? Stick with us. Alright. First things first, we'll cut with the axe. I expected that to be pretty easy, two-handed use on an axe, all the weights at the head. It's just physics. You expect it to do better. Alright, see how it does with the Kukri. At the same time, we'll see how the heat treat on the Kukri is, see if it holds up. Alright, here we go. It's getting stuck a little more. I think that's through. No. Pretty much is though. There you go. So there you go. That was one-handed. That was very easy. I could have choked up like this and gone two-handed, but I didn't see I didn't see any need to. That was really easy. That was easier than I thought. All right, we'll come back shortly, do some splitting. Alrighty, next up, splitting. Oh, and a miss. Let's try that again. Alright, take two, splitting. Not quite. Again. There we go. Alright, let's try the kukri. A little bit knotty, but see how we go anyway. That must have been a fluke. Try this first piece again because that just didn't, that was too easy. Yeah, see, that's better. It's closer to what I was expecting. Alright. Try again. So they split pretty close to the same. I'll maintain that tomahawk took less effort to do that, but and that first cut with this was just, I didn't feel it. Went straight through, so that's why I thought it was a fluke. We'll go one more. Go one more with both. So one more with the kukri. That's what I mean, that first one must have been a fluke. Had to have been. Took a bit more effort. And now, the last one. Switch back to the tomahawk. Easier. It's because all the weight's up here. That's physics. You can't change that. This weighs more. Twice the weight, almost, with all the weight up the top. It'll always out-chop the kukri, but with the cross-cutting, kukri actually did quite well. We'll count it all when I edit this out, and I'll put a counter up, but the beauty of this kukri, and the fact that the edge is holding up so well. There's no dings or anything to it. And that's the 52-100 steel doing its job. Hold on, this is still zoomed in, I need to zoom out. There we are. So yeah, after the chopping, after the splitting, the edge on the kukri is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. 52-100 steel. It's fantastic stuff. A couple scratches on the polish, doesn't worry me. I bought this to use. And the fine edge that Gurkha's blade put on this is holding up fine. In fact, where's my arm? Where's my hair? down here maybe. There you go. It's still shaving. It's good. That's to be expected. Love it. Alright. Now that we've done that, we've done some splitting, done some chopping, we'll do a bottle chop just with the Kukri. And then we'll do some carving with the carder. So I can show you how well the carder goes as well, because it's not all just about the main blade, is it? Alright, be back shortly. Okay, so I've done the other tests. This will be a quick bottle chop. Now, I've seen a couple of people do it. I don't know if I've got the skill for it, but I want to try and do a little tip cut. Because if it's sharp enough, it should go through the bottle without knocking it off. Put a little slice in it, and then it'll just hold the water in until I squeeze the bottle, and then it should just leak out. But if that doesn't work, I'll just cut the whole thing in half. We'll see how we go. Alright. I reckon like that. No. There we go. I reckon that worked out quite well. Alright. So, had one or two misses first. First time trying to swing it that precisely, but I got the cut I was after. And it was a very clean cut for the first one, then I tried to cut it a second time and I knocked it off. Still cut through it if you have a look there. But overall, I'm incredibly happy with this. This is a really, really good blade, really good Kukri. And considering how light it is for its size, it's worked out really well. Chopped wood, split wood, sharp, really, really, really sharp. Shaved hair, chopped bottles. It's an incredible piece of work. Thank you again, Neem, and the team at Gurkha's Blade for making this possible. This was my dream, my design, and they made it come true. They've done a fantastic job of it. So thanks again, guys. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to really test out was this carder, because it's extra large. The handle fills, well, it uses all 4 fingers to grab the handle instead of 3 for me because I've got large hands. And look at that. It's nice and sharp. It's doing nice feathers. I'll see if I can do a couple. The wood grain isn't really conductive for this, but I'm going to give it a crack anyway. First time using this on wood. Ah, bugger, I lost him again. But you can see it's nice and sharp. It's actually taken off quite large pieces of wood. It should be good for food grip too. I'll probably do a video on that later. But this just keeps going. It's the right geometry and everything just to carve, slice, all those finer tasks that the Kukri main blade is too big to do or too heavy. This is just the right size to get stuck into those little bits. It's got a nice tip on it too. I'll just have to test that. I'll have to test that a little bit more later as well. But yeah, for what it's meant for, it's good. It does a good job. There you go. There's some feathers for you. That'll do. We'll get into a conclusion before this gets too long. For those of you that know what this is about, check it. It's quality there. Hear that ring.